Hello and welcome to another episode of If I Were in a Sealed Room with a 3DS, I'd preview upcoming 3DS games. And today I'm joined by, as always, Julian,
Hello.
and we are joined by a special guest, contributor to Hard Reset and co-founder, Nathan Hambridge.
Hello.
So I give you that big introduction, and we get a, hello.
Yeah, that's all you
Got,
deserve.
gotta live it up. So, as the title of the show would say, we're going to be previewing some of the upcoming games for both the 3DS and one title for the DS. And to start it off, we'll be talking about Project X Zone, which was originally titled in its early states as Sega X Capcom X Namco. And if you haven't noticed, it's a collaboration between those three developers. It's a strategy RPG type game, and it's kind of like a successor to Namco X Capcom, which was for the PS2, but it only came out for in Japan, and that had all kinds of Namco and Capcom characters in it. So it's a crossover game. And Zig, what do you think about it? Are you excited for it?
I am because it's going to have Tales of characters involved, and that's always good. I haven't actually been following it that much, really.
Yeah,
If
they
you,
actually have a great website out already with a lot of character art and whatnot. That's definitely worth checking out.
uh, the only characters I know of are Mega Man X and Zero, and the Yuri and Estelle from Tales of Vesperia.
Speaking of characters, I guess I'll go through the character list. Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine are representing the Resident Evil, and they're in this game because Revelations was on the 3DS, and they were both in that game. And then we have two characters from Shining Force, which has a lot of big name recognition in Japan. There's Yuri and Estelle from Tales of Vesperia. You want to tell us a little bit about Yuri and Estelle?
Uh, Yuri and Estella from Vesperia, which was on the Xbox 360 and was released on PS3 in Japan. Uh, Yuri's kind of like a Yuri has some dark cutscenes in the game. Yuri's a kind of dark character, really. Even though he's like the main hero, and you expect him to be like he's really for justice. He's really on the side of justice, but he sometimes takes it a bit too far. And Estelle is a princess who doesn't really know much about the world outside of the castle. It's
Ah, so it sounds cool. We're getting a diverse cast of character here. And then we have Sanger Zonvolt. Sorry if I'm butchering any of these names. I'm not really familiar with all of the characters. And he's from the Super Robot Tyson games. And I like robots, so why the hell not? Then we're going to Sega. We have Ulala from Space Channel 5. And she's teaming up with some of the Shining Force characters. And the characters in the game, they're usually paired up except for the super robot guy because he's a badass, and they'll be using their signature moves to fight villains. And Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter are in the game. They use the Hadoken and the Shoryuken, respectively, so that's pretty fun. And then we have two Mega Man X characters. We have X and Zero, and they use the X Buster and Z Saber. Nathan, you're a big Mega Man X fan, so what do you think about X and Zero being in the game?
pretty good. X is my favorite Mega Man series, so uh, I I'm glad that they're in. They've probably put them in because there aren't really two Mega Man, like the original Mega Man series characters, as a pair that I can think of. So it's probably best that they chose X and Zero.
Yeah, definitely. And one other thing, I've looked at the artwork, and you'll be happy about this. It's not a fat guy cosplaying as Mega
Oh,
Man.
thank God! I can sleep happily tonight.
And then there's two characters, Kurt and Rilya, and they're from Valkyria Chronicles. Nathan, have you ever played that game?
I played like 10 minutes of the first one on PS1.
Ah.
They don't look familiar at all.
Oh well, and then we have Cosmos. Oh, I see how they did that. That sounds like, this space and shit. Cosmos and T-Elos from Xenosaga, and they have attacks like Storm Waltz and X-Buster, and Yuri and Estelle from Tales of Vesperia. They combine arts to make Savage Wolf Fury and Holy Light attacks. Do you know anything about those attacks, Nathan?
Uh, Savage Wolf Fury is in Tales of when you've used so many moves, you get like a you go into like a special mode. I think it's called Overlimit. I'm not sure what it's called in Tales of Vesperia, but it lets you use a move called a Mystic Art, which is like a really powerful combo. And I know Savage Wolf Fury is Yuri's Mystic Art, and in the game, I've said that a few times now. Estelle uses a lot of light, like sort of element magic. So yeah,
So that would make sense that her attack is Holy Light.
it would indeed.
And then we have two characters from the Dot Hack series, including Kite and Black Rose, and they use Data Drain. So we have a diverse cast lineup right now, but hope they do add more characters because there's such great characters from Capcom, Sega, and Namco. And is there anybody who you'd like to see added into the game, Nathan?
I was thinking maybe Sonic, but I've noticed all the characters seem to be human or human-like. So
Yeah, yeah. They even said that they chose Yuri and Estelle from Vesperia because they're older and closer in age to the other characters in the game.
yeah, yeah.
So that's
I don't think they'll be going with Sonic.
so why I'd like to see like Sonic or Pac-Man,
Yeah, I
because
don't
they're
think that'll be.
Namco and Sega's, they're mascots. I don't think we'll see them. There's also two Tekken characters in the game, Jin and Ling, so that's pretty cool. So maybe we'll see another Street Fighter Tekken battle. So that's pretty neat. And I'm kind of a little bummed that we're not gonna have Sonic. Maybe they can make a humanoid Sonic, a fat
No,
cosplaying
no,
Sonic.
no.
It's Mega Man all over again. Julian, is there any characters you'd like to see in the game?
Not really. To be honest, I'm extremely content seeing a non-customized version of X and Zero, so that makes me already happy enough.
One thing about the cast list is that marks a lot of the people's first appearance on the 3DS, and that's pretty fun for me because you get to see Ooh La La from Space Channel 5, and maybe down the line in the 3DS's lifespan, maybe we'll get a Space Channel 5 game. So it's really cool seeing their first appearance come through this game. I really hope it comes to North America, although, as I said previously, Namco X Capcom did not come to America, but come on! Bring it.
Yeah,
If
after
the
all the
if,
hype, I would really hope this comes to America. If not, all that hype is literally just vapor in the end.
yeah, this is getting a lot more hype than the Namco X Capcom game, at least. I mean, I didn't even hear about it until last year, and it came out a while ago. And so next on our to-do list of games to preview, we're going to preview a DS title developed by Game Freak, Pokemon Black and White 2. Nathan, we know you're a big Pokemon fan, as you can tell with your Let's Play of Pokemon Yellow. So, what are you looking forward to in that?
Well, I haven't actually watched any of the gameplay yet, but from what I've read and screenshots I've seen, it looks really good. They've basically taken the same region as last game and added new areas and new characters. The new characters look really cool, actually. The new male and female leads, and the new
Yeah.
rival.
Oh, the rival looks awesome. That's the one character I really like in the game. And they have a few new gym leaders in the
Oh,
game. They already said they have they have a new water gym leader.
and there's the new poison type gym leader who has the guitar.
Yeah, there we go. And some areas have been changed. There's two new towns in Unova, and the road between Castilia in Nimbasa has been completed. In the previous game, it was like a construction area,
Oh,
and
yeah, it was. I was trying to remember that word, and I remember it now.
yeah, there's a lot of like foreshadowing, so it's pretty cool. The cold storage and the construction zone are both gone in this game, and apparently the whole region's like covered in ice. The northern and eastern parts are. So a lot's changing, and they're adding a lot more depth to the universe of Unova, and I think that's really cool. One thing I really liked in Pokemon Silver and Gold was you could go back to Kanto and you could see what changed over time. And I
Yeah,
thought that was really, really neat. And you're pretty much seeing it in this game, although, it's not like a new area. It's not introducing that, but you are getting to see what changes over time. And the best part is there's a childhood friend of the player, and his English quote is, from now, I'm going to rage. So I really enjoy that. So
uh,
on the site when the Famitsu the Korokoro magazine leaked, we have the 3 scans up there. There has been one trailer out.
no,
We haven't
there's
posted.
been about three. There's been about three videos,
Yeah,
gameplay
there's been
videos.
a lot of footage out online, but we just try to cover some unique stuff. We got to the Korokoro details really quickly, so that's why we put it up. We're not trying to break all the news stories, but if something's really interesting, we'll post it. So definitely check out the footage. And what are you looking most forward to, Nathan, in the Pokemon Black and White too?
I'm not sure actually. There's a couple of things. I like that in Black and White they just had before you'd beat in the Elite Four, you could only catch Black and White Pokemon. Most people found that annoying. They wanted to catch Sold Pokemon, but I like that it made it fair for everyone. So new players were starting off with the same level of experience as everyone else, pretty much.
Yeah, I really like that as well.
But in this game, now that everyone's had the chance, they're bringing back other old Pokemon, which is good because now that everyone's had a chance to see the new Pokemon, now old players have got the chance to catch the favourites as soon as they want, really.
Yeah, definitely. And they added some new Pokemon. They said that now 300 Pokemon are accessible in Unova, and the new ones they just added to this game are going to be Psyduck, Arcanine, Lapras, Eevee, and there's going to be like 17,000 evolutions of Eevee in the game. So, that's like 20 other Pokemon just adding Eevee. Mareep, Tyranitar, Metagross, Bunbury, Riolu, Lucario, and Revel. They're all added to the Unova game, so that's pretty awesome right there. And you're not starting out in the same town. You're now
No, they're
starting out in a
in a new
city.
town.
Yeah, Hyogi City, and that's located in the southwestern portion of the map. And it has a Pokemon Center. It has a trainer school. That actually makes sense, having the damn trainer school where you start off. That would make a lot more sense if they did that in the other games.
Did you know this is the first Pokemon game where the town you start off in has a Pokemon Center?
Yeah, I mean, you're always in some small ass town that has nothing in it. It has like the the professor's lab, and that's about it.
And then
Your
about two
house.
houses and some random people.
Yeah, so they're doing a lot of different stuff with this game, and I'm really enjoying how it's looking so far. So we'll definitely cover it. We'll have a review of it when it comes out to America, and we're in Europe, and we're really excited about Pokemon Black and White too. I mean, I love Pokemon. Nathan loves Pokemon. Everybody loves Pokemon. Julian, you were kind of, just to be a buzzkill, you were kind of disappointed that it wasn't coming out for the 3DS. So, and which was my initial thought too. But I thought, it's coming out for the DS. It's coming out soon. I'm kind of happy about that. So, what's your general impression on the game, Julian?
Um, I can't really comment too much on it. Out of all honesty, I've really lost interest in Pokemon after like Crystal, so I haven't been following it at all. Just except for the fact that I know that Black and White 2 and this other spin-off Pokemon game are just going to come out solely for the DS, but it's pretty much all I know about it.
Oh yeah, nice segue right there. The Pokemon spin-off game he was talking about was Pokemon Conquest, or as it was originally titled, Pokemon X Nobunga's Ambition. And this is a crossover title between the Nobunga's Ambition franchise in Japan, which is pretty much the characters from the Three Kingdoms, which you might know if you've played Samurai Warriors. You know, you got Hideyoshi, you got Nobunga Oda, of course. You got all those fun characters, and they all have Pokemon, because why the hell not? It looks pretty damn awesome. It's like a strategy RPG. You know, you got the grid based, and Nathan's gonna give us his impressions of the game.
Well, from what screenshots and small videos I've seen, it looks good. I'm liking the look of the battle system, like the strategy RPG sort of feel, and the first trailer really made me laugh because all the characters have like legendary Pokemon. There's a guy with a Mewtwo and an Articuno, and then it gets to the main character and he has an Eevee. And I just saw that and I'm just like, of course he has an Eevee. That's just great.
And some of the cool things is like if you've played like Samurai Warriors, you get to know the personality of the people pretty well, and it's amazing how they've matched up like the Pokemon with the characters from the Three Kingdoms. Nathan, you've played Samurai Warriors, right?
A small bit of it, yeah.
Do you know who Hideyoshi is in that
He
game?
he's the tall thin guy, right?
Yeah, he ends up uniting the Three Kingdoms, and he's pretty wacky, and he's just an out there kind of guy. And his I think his Pokemon is like the it's a monkey, and I just found it's just so fitting for him. It was like
Wait. I think we
it's
might be thinking of different people.
he kind of looks like a monkey.
Oh, I know who you mean. He's like the guy who wears red, right?
No,
Who are you thinking of? Does he wear grey?
no, let me see. Okay.
The guy I'm thinking of has Mewtwo.
He has a big ass hat with blades in it. Here, I sent you a picture.
Uh, oh, in Pokemon Conquest he wears red.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay, so they changed his outfit a bit, but he has a monkey as his
yeah.
Pokemon, and it's hilarious.
Infernape.
Yeah, the fire monkey. So it's pretty damn awesome. I'm looking forward to the game because I just simply adored Samurai Warriors for the 3DS, and that touches on another game I want to talk about really quickly. Dynasty Warrior Versus is coming to the 3DS. It looks really good actually, and the one point I wanted to talk about really quickly was it has two costumes in the game. One of Link from the Legend of Zelda series, and one of Zero Suit Samus from the Metroid series. And I thought it was really funny how they just included those. And mad props to Team Ninja for adding that. And it kind of makes sense because they did Metroid Other M, and they had Samus had it in Parents, and did her live Dimensions for the 3DS as well. So nice to see Tecmo Koei and Nintendo still being friendly. Julian, have you played any Dynasty Warrior games in the past, and are you looking forward to Dynasty Warriors Versus?
I've played Dynasty Warriors 4 on the PS2. It was one of those games that I just played whenever I went over to a friend's house, so I didn't actually get too in depth with it. But what I played from it, I enjoyed it for what it was, so I might pick it up for the 3DS.
Yeah, I don't think there's much depth to Dynasty Warriors. I mean, there are fans I've seen that will argue otherwise, but it's pretty much just a button masher where you kill
Grab
a
a
lot of
sword and
people.
just rape through the swarms of enemies all around you.
But I can appreciate that, and if you take it
So
for
can
what
I.
it is, you can have a good ass time playing some Dynasty Warriors.
I'm
It's the
I'm
type of
generally that kind of person. I usually take a game for what it is, and if it's about kicking ass, well, you know what? Fuck the story. It's about kicking ass. Nothing else to it.
Definitely, that's all you need. And so, our next game on the list is something Julian is very excited to talk about: Mario Tennis Open. Julian, take it away.
I don't even know where to start with this. let me start with when Nintendo had the little conference last year, pretty much showcasing what they were hyping up for the 3DS. This was a huge surprise to a lot of people. I know me particularly because it was so unexpected, and they just showed it off so casually too. Like, yeah, we're making a new Mario Tennis game. Here's like a 5 second clip, and that's it. Um, but of course, since we're literally just weeks away from its release, which is May 20th for the United States. There's been a slew of screenshots, game information, all that, all that good stuff we all like. Um, but from what it's shaping up to be like, it is cutting out all the gimmicks that were in Mario Power Tennis, which makes me personally extremely happy. It didn't even feel like a tennis game on the GameCube. It felt more like a who can do spam the most power shots while they can type deal. So those of you who didn't like the power shops that deal, guess what? They're gone. Even though I know you can turn them off in the original, but still they're gone. It's pretty much retained. Nintendo themselves have said they've tried to retain the original gameplay from the Nintendo 64 version. So those of you who felt like it lost the magic in the newer iterations, well, guess what? Supposedly it is back to how it used to play. And once again, it's another thing that has me very excited because there was a lot of skill involved with that instead of, once again, spamming skill shots or anything like that. One of the new things they added to this is, which apparently seems to be a popular trend with 3DS games, especially with fighters, is out on the touchscreen portion, they allow you to tap a certain section to do a certain type of shot, a drop shot, a lob shot, a curve shot, and stuff like that. I really don't have much of a problem, just as long as it makes it more accessible for everyone, more power to them. It means more players.
Yeah, it
And,
doesn't give them an unfair advantage
yep,
because it's pretty easy to do anyway. So no
yep.
problem with that
If
at all.
if anything, I've noticed with systems like that, a lot of people get more encouraged to actually do the manual controls because they feel like they can have more control over it. It's just like is someone driving an automatic car. You want more control over your speed, so eventually you just want to get like a stick shift. Uh,
Not for me, man. Automatic all the way. I have no
manual,
desire to learn that. But
manual
speaking
for
on
me.
what you were saying, like in Street Fighter 4 3D, it was nice just to pick a random character I never used before, and I could learn some of his special attacks just by pressing the buttons. And then I'd go in the training mode and learn more of it. But it was just nice to I can just hop right into arcade mode with a random character, and I can just do all
Yep,
right because I can just press the buttons.
and
And
that's the thing. Go ahead.
yeah, and it's also adding some mini games, including one that's Super Mario Brothers Tennis. And it's pretty much the original Super Mario Brothers, but you have to defeat like the enemies on the screen with the tennis ball. You want to hit the tennis ball in the location of the enemy. That was really interesting. Did you see that trailer, Julian?
Yeah, definitely. It it definitely looked like something I would really get into because it's pretty much what you could say it's wall ball with the tennis racket, and you could hit like the power up blocks to get coins and stuff like that. So it's a really cool concept. I know they've included other classic stuff as well, such as ring shot, which was one of my favorite modes from the original. There was another one where there's if for those of you who played the Nintendo 64 version, if you remember the piranha plant shot where pretty much there's piranha plants that would shoot balls at you, um, it's similar to that, except this time they're shooting oil blots at you, so it'll go on your screen and distort your view and stuff like that. And then, of course, the major addition to this is they are adding a full-fledged online mode, which has a lot of people hyped because it's not just going to be oh, well, you can decide if you want to play online or not. No, it's pretty much going to be very similar to how Kid Icarus did its online, which went all the way with it. There's going to be tournaments, all this other stuff. I'm really psyched about that, especially since I can kick Tyler's ass for once on that.
You know what? I will take your challenge, and when this game comes out, we will be having a tournament for a $20 eShop card. North America only. Sorry, Zig, because I don't
That's
know.
racism.
Wait.
Racism.
Wait. Europeans. Oh, wait, no. Because I was going to say you could buy it, but I don't think you want to spend $20. So North American only, because I don't want to import a European eShop card, but we'll be having a tournament and we'll probably give away a prize to it. So when it comes out, online tournament, hard reset, be there or be square.
Yeah.
And who wants to be Squaresoft? Nobody. That's why they merged
No,
with Aegis.
hell no.
And one thing
Uh,
I kind of disappointed for this game was that they don't have an RPG mode, which was always a staple of the portable
handheld.
games. That really disappointed me.
Oh, they
Yeah,
So
don't have any kind of story mode.
I don't believe so. I think they'll probably
yeah.
have a Grand Prix tour
It
like the Mario
in
Kart
the
games.
previous games, it was a pretty major portion. Yeah, on this one they haven't advertised it at all. I highly, highly, highly doubt it, which is really unfortunate because, like Tyler said, it's a staple for the handheld series, and it's something you could just jump into and you just start at. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's pretty much you start off as a always it's usually even in the Mario Golf games, it was always a very similar story. You're just a newcomer to a sports school, particularly tennis, and you can either play singles or doubles throughout the whole thing. So if you go with doubles, your roommate's going to be your doubles partner, and you just work your way up the ranks in the school, and then eventually you get into tournaments and you beat the really hard characters and stuff like that. And that was a way that you could unlock characters, and your character as well would earn experience points to level up to get stronger shots, other good stuff. And then of course you could use that same character in multiplayer. So it was fun to grind and try to get your character more powerful, and then of course going through the end where you could actually verse the Mario characters, which are the legendary sports players. So it was a really cool thing. I just feel like it's gonna be one of its shortcomings is that it's lacking in one of the staple modes. It's disappointing, but it's not a deal breaker for me. Um,
It's definitely not a deal breaker, but it would have been so cool because it was so epic in the Game Boy Advance game when you finally get to the Mushroom Kingdom and
yeah,
you
they
see
always.
this huge
When
area.
when
It's
uh,
so
when that
awesome.
when that part of the game first happened, I had no idea what was coming up. I was just like, okay, so there's something else, and then you go on the plane and you're in the Mushroom Kingdom, and it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah, it was so awesome.
I remember the first time that happened when I was playing the original Mario Tennis on the Game Boy Color. God, I miss that game so bad. Um, yeah, when that happened, I was like, "Oh my God, it's Mario!" Because all the characters are just very basic human type characters, which was actually very. I'm gonna get a little sidetracked here, but they were very interesting because in the previous ones on the Nintendo 64, for those of you who remember the transfer pack, you could actually transfer the human characters from the Game Boy Color version into the Nintendo 64 version, so you could see them in full 3D, and that was a really cool thing. And then Mario Golf could also do the same thing. So and they're kind of doing that with this one, but it's with Mii's. So I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that's what's replacing all the people and stuff like that. So it's all right. Of course,
That's
more
pretty
stuff.
cool. You can play tennis with Hitler and Obama. What's not to like?
And
Sounds,
you can get
sounds,
you can get different costumes from. I've heard you can get like Bowser costumes and
yeah, you can get costumes and like special character rackets and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool, I guess. Make your own character and
Yeah,
whatnot.
it's awesome how much customization Nintendo's adding to their games. Like Mario Kart 7 had customization. This does. And even so in Fire Emblem Awakening, you can like change your own character and you can do a lot of customization in that game as well. So it's nice to see Nintendo embracing customization in their games.
Yeah, exactly. And all besides all the other typical stuff like tournaments and exhibition and stuff like that, pretty much it just covers everything that's been said about the game. And pretty much that's all there is to know about it. And all we got to do now is just play the waiting game until May 20th, and I'll make sure to be camping outside of Walmart for that bad boy.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like an amazing game. And like all the titles pretty much on this list, we'll have some coverage of it when it comes out. And now we're talking about a game that has already come out in two regions, in North America and Japan. We're talking about Devil Survivor 2 and Devil Survivor Overclocked. And the big news is that they're coming to Europe finally, so we'll talk to our local European correspondent. Nathan, are you excited about Devil Survivor goodness? Two of them coming to Europe.
I am. I played the original Devil Survivor. You know, a friend imported it, and I played that, and I really liked it. I'm really looking forward to the. I was really disappointed when Overclocked first came out, and it wasn't getting a European release. I was very angry, and some people were hurt during the events of that day.
Yeah, and
Hearts
they
were
did a good
shattered.
job. They did a good job with the port. The voice acting's really good, actually. I was surprised, and it, it's frustrating to talk about because you can tell they put a lot of effort into it, but at the same time, it's kind of a half-assed port because it doesn't use 3D at all, aside from the opening, like the opening of the game, which is gorgeous 3D, but they don't use it for the rest of the game. And like in the original game, the top screen's just blank half the time.
Well,
You
I
know,
don't really use the 3D on my 3DS anyway, so I'm not really that concerned.
yeah, it doesn't really make a difference. It's still a fantastic game. It was just kind of like, you couldn't really, the characters look cool. It would have been cool just, I like 3D and the 2D type games. I think it looks a lot better. But I was just like, why wouldn't they add it? Like all the action's taking place on the bottom screen. You'd think they would flip it just so we could see it at least widescreen. It looked a little better, but no big deal. The game's still freaking awesome, and I definitely recommend Overclocked since I've played it. Haven't finished it yet, but I'm good. I'm a solid like 10 hours into it, and it's definitely a good game. Devil Survivor 2, from all accounts I've heard, is great as well. So
Devil Survivor 2 to me looks better than the first one.
yeah, that's what I've
I
heard.
think I think I'm more interested in getting Devil Survivor 2 than I am Overclocked.
Although I was kind of disappointed it was for the DS, just because, like, I just played Overclocked. I want that voice acting. I don't want to read. I like to listen.
Doesn't Devil Survivor 2 have voice acting?
I'm not sure. I just know the original didn't, and they added it for the
Devil
3DS release.
Survivor
We're
2.
finding out as we speak. New
Yep.
information. Devil Survivor 2 coming to you. I'm talking to fill up space. Do you like it, podcast listeners? Do you like
I don't
it?
think it does.
It does not, as I thought so. Okay, I'm
No, no,
amazed.
it doesn't. It doesn't.
I'm amazed by my smooth skill to just kill time while he's looking that up. And next up,
You could have just left it quiet and then cut it out.
no, that's not fun. I like to be a professional, Ziggy. I never edit anything in the podcast. Wink, wink. And finally, one thing we want to talk about is the announcement of Professor Layton 6, the CEO of Level 5, whose name I cannot remember at the moment. He said they're working on it, and he didn't give any details of the game except for one thing. He said the title will be very long in Japanese. And that's like the understatement of the century. The Professor Layton games always have such like tongue-twisting titles, like the Professor Layton in the Diabolical. What the hell is that?
But
Atomic Box. So Nathan, you're a big Professor Layton fan, and you're a fan of top hats in general. So, are you pretty pumped about this?
I am, but I'm more pumped about getting 4 and 5 first.
Yeah, I'm really excited. They haven't released the one for the 3DS yet.
I think
Uh,
that's 4.
five. That's five.
Is it? Oh yeah, 4. No,
The
wait.
first four are for the DS, and then five's that. And
What's 4
the
again?
first four are out for the in the America. The latest
Wait,
one just had
no,
London Life in it.
no, that's 3, isn't it?
Yeah, that's four. The
I'm.
third one, the third one's the Unwound Future.
Oh fuck, it is. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, yeah. This is 5 coming out. Yeah, 5's the 3DS one. Right. Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, and that's the Miracle Mask or something like that.
The Mask of Miracle.
The Mask of Miracle, and that looks fantastic. It was a launch title for the 3DS in Japan. We still haven't gotten it yet, so hopefully we'll get it. I think we'll get it this winter because they've been doing a
Maybe E3.
yeah, they've been doing a yearly release schedule with Professor Layton over here. Each one comes out like a winter of each year, so I'm assuming we'll get it then because they've been taking, like a year's a good pacing for these games to come out when they're already out. It's kind of like Studio Ghibli and Disney. They come out in Japan a lot faster, but Disney's been pacing it for you get like one Studio Ghibli release every
If you
like
keep
beginning of
mentioning
each year.
Studio Ghibli, I'm gonna put like a Studio Ghibli box on the site, and every time you say Studio Ghibli, you have to put like one comment in the box about how much you suck.
Speaking of Studio Ghibli, buy the bar Yeti.
You're a
Okay, time to
dick.
get
I'm gonna
this.
I'm gonna edit this bit out myself.
Okay, moving on. Julian, have you played any Professor Layton games?
I have not, but Nathan has tried to dictate me in the
I'm
past to play
gonna if
them.
you don't play one soon, I'm gonna have to kill you, Julian.
Yeah, you definitely should. I own the first three. I've beaten the first two. I've started the third one, and they're just amazing games. Like I kind of got puzzled out when I started playing the second one, because I finished the first one really quick. Then I started the second one. I was like, ugh, I'm about tired of puzzles. And then I got back into it like a couple months later. I finished the second one and I kept going. I'm like, I'll start the third one. Then I got puzzled out again. So I wish I would have gotten them when they came out because I wouldn't have been puzzled out. But you just got to take like a month off and then go into the next one. At least for me, because I just get puzzled out. I'm like, ugh, too many puzzles. I don't want to
I
think.
just steam through them like a boss. I've beaten pretty much every game in about a week each.
Well, that's because you're a boss and nobody can mess with your intellectual prowess, Nathan.
Damn right.
And so, any other 3DS releases you want to? Oh, we're gonna talk about. Oh, fuck. Let me edit this out. Uh-uh. And finally,
No editing.
and, fi- and, and, and,
Last off.
and finally, blast off. Uh, and finally, the last game we want to talk about is Roller Coaster Tycoon 3D. Julian, tell us why you're so excited by the latest effort by InSpace.
I am primarily excited for the fact that the series has been through a really rough past ever since the release of the third, and I'm really excited to see a new entry to the series. Um, Not on PC, but it's going to be released on the 3DS. I'm very grateful that at least Atari has given it new life. With the developed by InSpace, they've done all the Call of Duties for the DS, and right now they're developing the very hyped Heroes of Ruin for the 3DS. Um, for those of you who are familiar with Roller Coaster Tycoon series, and for those of you who aren't, it's all about building and managing your own theme parks, building rides, roller coasters, paths, stalls, doing what you can to make your guests happy and your park successful. The series, actually, this new iteration of the series has been catching a lot of flack because, oh, it's not on PC, blah, 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 blah. So why is it on 3DS? No one buys the 3DS, all this other stuff. Um, Besides all of that, I'm very open to this. I obviously own a 3DS, and when I found out that this was coming out for the 3DS, it made me more, extremely happy to know that, well, I'll be able to play this. Um, the only thing a lot of people have been worried about is how's the 3DS going to handle such a massive game like Roller Coaster Tycoon? Um, it's not a small scoped game. There's a lot of micromanagement done in it, setting patrol paths for staff members, all this other stuff. And it really doesn't sound like much, but for those of you who've played the previous games, there's a lot going on. And even the games for their times did bog down to PCs. So, besides them announcing it, it was shown off with a pre-beta screenshot where it showed the game in polygon 3D form, and another one which was in a basic sprite style similar to the previous games. It's from what we've seen so far, they've evolved it just to pretty much it's all polygons now. It's not going to be sprite based. Um, it looks very basic, but it's a lot of us know that you can't really base 3DS games off of the screenshots. I've seen a lot of games that look terrible in the screenshots, but when you actually play it on your 3DS, it actually looks fantastic. But besides all of that techno stuff, InSpace has been pretty dedicated with the game. They've already finished it, but unfortunately it's been delayed from its original March release date to now May 22nd. May is going to be a very busy month for my bank account. Pretty much, they've said the whole game is intact. You can still do everything you can do on the PC versions. You can also ride the rides. They give you that option as well in 3D. Ooh. Um, there's also been an interesting feature I've noticed in one of the new screenshots is that apparently you can take a picture of yourself and put it on a a guest's face, I guess, so that way you're quote unquote a guest in the park. It's really have you seen that picture? It's really weird.
No, that's awesome, but I'm gonna have Hitler riding my rides. I'm gonna make a roller coaster that crashes just so I can kill like a roller coaster full of Hitlers.
um, and another thing I noticed in some of the new screenshots as well is that some of them are actually at night. I don't know if the game is actually going to have a full day-night cycle as Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 did, or if some of the parks are just going to be set at different times of the day. That's very interesting to see. And then, of course, another one of the new features, which I'm not really a big fan of, but I guess it all depends on their execution. The scenario mode from the previous titles is apparently now replaced by I forgot exactly what it's called, but it's pretty much a story mode. Apparently your dad is some big fancy theme park builder, and pretty much he's abandoned everything pretty much, and he has one of his retired employees teach you his son how to build a theme park or stuff like that. I've heard the tutorials are very tedious, but pretty much that the whole experience is intact. I'm hoping so. A lot of people are hoping so. The only issue is that Atari hasn't really been advertising the game. There's only been one trailer for it, which was CGI. It's not even like the actual game, and like 6 screenshots out of from when the game was announced, like last August. That's all the information we've had on it.
Yeah,
So
the story mode that you're talking about, that's basically a tutorial. That looks really interesting. Did the previous games have anything like that, like a little story?
No, they didn't. They were just the first two were just flat out pick a scenario, do the objective, and call it a day. And the third, it was pretty much the same way as well. Just pick a scenario and do it, and just go from there.
Yeah, I,
Um,
I really like this because for a newcomer to the series, I really like that they're having a tutorial like this. It's more accessible as a because simulator games they can get really complex really quickly. So it's pretty nice to have a nice tutorial disguised as a story mode. Kind of like Dead or Alive Dimensions. Its whole story mode was pretty much a tutorial for the game. So I really enjoy stuff like that.
yeah, that's one thing In Space said. It's supposed to help, ease in newcomers and just add an extra level. As strange as it sounds, extra level of complexity to the game. That way, it's adding some form of story to it and whatnot. I'm interested to see how it plays out. As with what I said about Lost Planet 3 and Spark Unlimited, In Space, I've enjoyed their previous titles. Um, I personally think they've handled the Call of Duty titles on the DS well. They seem to be pretty confident in how Heroes of Ruin is going to turn out. So I feel confident in their ability. I don't feel like I'll be disappointed. I hope not. I have really high hopes for it. Obviously, I've been waiting about a lot of us have been waiting 8 years for a new Tycoon title. And here it finally is. It's right around the corner, but there's nothing we can really see about it. So at the same time, I'm pretty scared that when I get the game, it's going to be very small scale, and very bare bones. So I have my fingers crossed, and I guess we'll be finding out on May 22nd.
Yeah, so we hope it turns out well, and I think it will. InSpace is a good developer. They're also doing Heroes of Ruin for the 3DS, which we covered last episode, and that looks pretty good. So we're pretty much wrapping it up. Nathan, do you have any last thoughts on any games coming out for the 3DS?
Nothing I can think of.
Julian, any final thoughts?
No, the 3DS seems to be gonna have a very successful year so far. A lot of big titles coming out for it. So, unlike last year, I'm pretty excited to see where it goes this year.
Def- One big thing is that the end of the year this year is going to be packed with awesomeness. We have Paper Mario. We have a new side-scrolling Mario game. We have so many awesome 3DS games coming out.
Yeah, the possibility of Luigi's Mansions 2 coming out this year.
We're gonna have an amazing year for 3DS singers. My poor wallet come Christmas. That's all I can say.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about May. There's so many games coming out that like I said, my poor bank account got Mario Tennis coming out on a Sunday. 2 days later, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3D is going to come out. And then the weekend coming after that is Resistance Burning Skies for the Vita. So, going to have a busy week.
So yeah, a ton of games coming out. We hope you enjoyed this episode. For Julian, for Nathan, for myself, have a great day, and thanks for listening. See ya! This has been a presentation of Hard Reset, your last resort for gaming analysis.